Did you know that a lot of marriages and relationships break up when there's a lot of stress going on? Well, you probably know that, don't you? But what happens is when there's stress, you're not thinking straight, and you can sometimes do decisions that you can regret later. So today's live, I'm going to be talking about what happens in a relationship when there's stress and what you can begin to do differently. Because when there's stress in a relationship, there isn't a lot of intimacy going on, that connection, that closeness, that safe place to land. You're finding it hard to connect, you're finding it hard to talk to each other, and it's not a great place to be in. Because stress in marriage, this is what I have worked with for the last 16 years, when there is stress in marriage, it ripples through into every area. So I'm going to talk into 3 areas about what you can begin to do to change this. And by the end of this little bit of a chat, you will have a takeaway of something that you can take away and start changing straight away. It could be personally for yourself, or it could be for you as a couple. So the first place to start looking into is having an awareness. Well, you've got enough awareness to be listening to this video because you've obviously got stress in your marriage, or you've had stress in your marriage. And when we have an awareness, we then have more of a likelihood to be able to change it, or to do different steps to start changing it. With an awareness, the first place to start is to start noticing what's actually going on in your body. You might notice you're arguing or fighting, or you're not getting on like you used to, or there is a level of stress, but you haven't stopped long enough to actually recognize what's going on in the body. When we're in stress, we can tend to live in the head, and we overthink and we worry, and we're not very good at inhabiting our bodies. So the first place to start is to start noticing what's going on in the body. Is your gut churning? Is it knotty? Are you finding it hard to eat certain foods because your body just isn't processing it? Does it feel like there's this lead weight? Does it feel like there's panic in the body? It's starting to inhabit your body and get really familiar with what your body's telling you. The body is incredible. It will let you know. I hear a lot from the clients I work with, and they talk about the anxiety and the panic attacks and that doomy, gloomy feeling, or the lead weight, or feeling trapped. Your body is telling you something. So the first thing is to have an awareness and to connect inside the body and notice what's going on there. The next is also begin to notice what your mind is saying. And, you would have heard of that monkey mind and that overthinking, and you just spiral and you just keep going and going. That's an indicator. There's a lot of stress going on. So it's noticing that. Also in awareness, it's beginning, excuse me, I need a drink of water. Excuse me a sec. Having an awareness of how often you've actually taken time out to actually slow down. An awareness around, have you been in nature? Have you connected inwardly? Have you done any meditation? Having an awareness of how much you're filling up your own cup. Keep on bringing it back to yourself. When you're in stress, you will blame your partner. That's what happens. Stress in marriage is you start to blame yourself, and then there can be a bit of a, power play going on, tit for tat. It's a horrible place to be in. And I see it firsthand working with the couples. And then the last part is to have an awareness of how much it is actually physically affecting your body. Are you getting funny ailments? Is your back hurting? Is your neck hurting? Have you got a twitchy eye? We've all got different ways that our body lets us know that we have stress. When did you last get your blood pressure tested? When did you last notice your sleep? So honestly, the first thing is to notice if you got stress in your marriage, first of all, having awareness, how it is affecting you emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and physically. That's the first place. The next thing to notice is to have an adaptability. And what I mean by that is how adaptable are you to what is going on in your marriage? Often we can get head fast in what we think and what we believe, and we need to be in control. And when we have stress in marriage, it can sometimes be because we have an expectation, we want control, we want things to be our way, and this can then begin to create a lot of stress. So in talking into that, it is the quality of questions that you ask yourself. How much or how able are you to adapt to change? Or does it have to be dinner at 6 o'clock, the kids in bed at 8:30? We do this on Saturday, we do this on Sunday, and then we do it all around again. You know, and I often, in working with couples, as they begin to unpack what's going on in their relationship and where is the stress coming from, they realize that one of the partnership needs to be in control and the other one's hidden up against it. I mean, that's just one example. But how adaptable are you? There is no permanency. And the key with this is to be able to live in the present moment and accept the reality as it is. And when we get in, I call it a trance, where we want our partner to be different, you're going to go through pain. You're going to hit up against your own beliefs, and it shouldn't be like this. It's my partner should be different. My partner isn't what I thought my partner was. You know what? You're going to change, grow, evolve constantly. That's a healthy relationship. And if you're going through stress, it's first of all having an awareness of the stress, and secondly being able to adapt. And also, if you have children, the different stages that your children will go through, what you have to do as a couple and how you cope with that, if you've got a 2-year-old to a 12-year-old, is going to be really different. And I see any type of stress as an invitation. It's an invitation for you to look inward. If you are being triggered and you're going into fight, flight, or freeze, what wounded part of you is being touched in? Stress is here to teach us. We don't like it. I get this as my phone's wobbling. But it's an invitation to love what is. And what I mean by that is often we try to control, but it's being able to work with what you have control of and working in that framework. And when we have stress, we often blame, we criticize, we attack, because we want our partner to be different. But the key is to bring it back to yourself. And how adaptable are you? How willing are you to see things differently? How willing are you to perhaps look at a belief system that you have? You know, a belief that, I've got to do it on my own, or a belief that I'm not allowed to honour my own needs first, or a belief, there's many beliefs. So I'm just touching in on this. So how adaptable to change are you? And the last part of this that is really helpful is the authentic part of you. When we are being authentic, we will keep coming back to our own inner values and our own inner power source. And we will get our sense of self-worth and our sense of self from within ourselves. We will not get it from our partner. And if we have stress in marriage, is it because you are not aligning with your own values? Perhaps you're aligning with your partner's values. Perhaps as a couple, you haven't had a discussion as to how aligned your joint values are. You know, in 20-something-year-old marriages, when did you last look at how aligned your values are? How aligned is your vision moving forward? Do you have a similar vision? Do you have a similar purpose in your marriage? And being authentic is having the courage and the guts and the bravery to speak your truth, to be really honest from your heart's center, to be able to speak into what is right for you and not trying to change your partner, or for you to stop adjusting yourself to please your partner. So all I'm doing through this video is giving you little bits that may be stirring something in you. But if I was to round up, if you've got stress in marriage, first have a look at how self-aware you are. Where are you sitting emotionally? What do you do with those emotions? Mentally, where does your mind go? Physically, how is the stress in your marriage affecting you physically? And then also spiritually, what are you doing to connect and fill in your own cup and to be at one with yourself? Because if you are coming from a better version, you are not going to be reactive or as reactive to your partner. You won't get triggered into the fight or flight or freeze. You're going to be able to regulate your nervous system. So the first thing is to have an awareness of where you're at. The second is the adaptability. How adaptable to change are you? Or do you feel like you need to be in control, and when anything changes, it brings out the stress response in you? So how adaptable are you? And thirdly, how authentic are you being? If you've got stress in your marriage, are you coming from the authentic place inside of you, where it's very aligned with your own values and you're doing it from your heart center? You're not making decisions to please your partner. And when did you last have a discussion as a couple as to see how aligned you are with your visions, your purpose, and your mission? And this does change throughout a relationship, and having a clear vision in your relationship can be really helpful, can be a bit like a guiding light, particularly if you've got stress. Work out where your stress is coming from. How honest are you both being? Look, this is a topic that I can talk into for a long time, so I am going to round it up. If there's stress in your marriage, deal with it, look at it, because it doesn't go away. And I've watched too many couples over my 16-year career as a marriage therapist. They leave it too late, and they don't do the work early enough. All couples have issues and troubles and problems and stress, but you've got to look at it. And sometimes you need a third party to be able to step in and support you with this. So look, if this is speaking to you, you can hop on a discovery call with me. Go to my website, Power of Change. Go to my website, Helen Harrison. Have a look around. See if anything speaks to you. And if you want to have a bit of a chat, we can on a discovery call. Anyway, I'm going to love you and leave you. And you know what? The power of change is within you. See ya.